Mike, what has Derek been doing so well over the last month, dealing with the hamstring and trying to be patient, and yet still finding a way to work, and now being at this point of the season rushing leader? What has helped him get through this stretch?
We like to call that being a professional, trying to make the hard look easy. There's things that we all deal with. You deal with injuries, you deal with bumps and bruises, you deal with things outside of this building, family, kids, a lot of things. And it's our job to come in here, stay focused on what we have to do each and every day to, for the team, really. That's what it's about. And, Derek's one of a lot of guys that do that.
What do you like about the way that the Dory's kind of handled this situation that he's going through and as he tries to work his way back?
Well, I think the same thing goes. If you're not available, you have to do everything that you possibly can to become available. And then when, we feel like you're ready to return and you have confidence in what you're doing, we start to work you back in there. So, I think those two are a little different, but, we try to treat everything on a case-by-case basis. And if a guy's working his way back, I know that I'm hopeful that he's doing everything he can do to get back out there.
As the season's gone on and the team has sort of gone through some ups and downs, what are some of the traits that have stood out to you maybe about the team as a whole throughout this season?
I don't. The time for reflection will be, whenever the season's over. But I do know that there are a lot of ups and downs as the season, as you work your way through the season. I think trying to remain consistent in our approach. I know that, unfortunately, our performance isn't always going to be consistent. I do think the effort has been very consistent. I think that these guys, I think they play hard. You've heard me mention it. I know that people say, well, you're paid to play hard, and I don't know if that's always the case. I watch a lot of tape, and it's one that when another coach tells you that your team plays hard, it's a great compliment. So I do think that they've done that. We've played with multiple people. I think that we've tried to be, prepared to move on to the next guy. So there's a lot of things that happen through the course of a season.
Can you expand on that? What do you mean by you don't know that it's always the case that guys play hard?
Well, I think from an outside perspective, people say, well, they're paid and so they play hard, or they're supposed to play hard. I mean, I think that's, again, we watch plays and I show the team tapes that, from across the league that maybe, that's not the effort that we want to play with. And there's certainly times that that's shown up on our tape, but I don't know if it's a consistent thing with us. I would have a tough time coming to work if we didn't play with great effort and guys weren't finishing down the field and trying to help the guy, to help their teammate do something good.
You were talking about Adoree coming back potentially before the Saints game. You had mentioned maybe it would be a third down role.
Sure.
Then things went back for him. You envision if he's able to come back now that he would start off in something like that?
It's hard to say without really evaluating where we are with the tempo that we worked at yesterday on a short week. So we'll see a lot today against the first, second down and moving into third down. So I know he's working hard to get back and he wants to be back.
Talk about the strengths of Edelman and White when they're at full strength. Challenge the defense with?
Well, I mean, I don't think the full. I don't want to preface it with the full strength because nobody at this point in time in the season is at full strength. We understand that, and that I wouldn't expect anybody to be. For Jules, I think there's a certain level of toughness and a competitiveness that has come with how he's made it in this league. He's taken his skill set and translated it into a very good receiver. I would say that he's one of the better blocking wide receivers in this league. He throws his body around for them to run the football. He's got a very good route craft. He knows where the quarterback wants him to be. White's got a very good skill set as far as hands, the natural catcher, how he sets routes up, his ability to run vertical routes from the backfield, I would say, is something that's very unique, and his ability to catch the football down the field from the backfield. I mean, I think it's one thing to run, choice routes or option routes or horizontal routes, but I think when you look at his ability to run vertical routes, in which he does, the ease in which he catches the ball and tracks the ball is probably something that is unique.
Khalif still in protocol, and I guess
Yes.
return to game still maybe to be determined.
Sure. I mean, if you're still in concussion protocol, your availability depends on you passing those steps. So when they tell us that he's passed concussion protocol, then we'll try to monitor where he fits in.
What kind of challenges does it present when they plop a big guy like Danny Shelton, always covering the center? What kind of challenges does that present to the running game?
Well, I mean, I think the big players like that and guys that, the hope is that they can eat up two gaps, eat up both A gaps with their body and the center's body. And they give you multiple looks. Sometimes he's shaded, sometimes he's a zero. So he's a very good run defender. He's tough to move in there. So it would be a huge challenge for Ben and the rest of the offensive line.
You said Derek's professionalism stands out. Has his leadership also taken another step this year with vocally or just in front of the team?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the maturation process that you hope happens, as guys come into the league, and we all have different personalities, and we all lead, I think, differently. But, the easiest way to lead is by knowing what to do, doing your job hard, playing with great effort, being available each and every day to practice and ultimately to play. And I think that they, I think they listen to Derek. I think they respond to Derek, especially I think the offensive line. I think that's evident by kind of the end of that game and that stretch of wanting to try to do well for him. I think that's the case.
I think you touched on them plus 21 in the turnover differential yesterday. Anything you can do going into a game to prevent those or bring greater awareness to ball control?
Security.
Yeah.
Practice it, emphasize it, show it to them, show them how they're, taking it away, how they're hammering it out when a receiver or a runner has it. How they knock it out of the quarterback's hands or how they intercept it when it's floating up in the air, or you run bad routes, or quarterback makes a bad read. So it's very impressive what they've done to be able to turn the ball over and also take care of it. That'll be a huge challenge for us.
In your experience playing maybe a big back like a Henry type, did it get increasingly difficult as the game goes along to bring him down?
Well, I mean, I think that any player in this league, I think that's the toll that as the game wears on, the more physical that it becomes, humans start to wear down. I mean, that's, whether it's up front on the offensive line or defensive line, I think that's the genesis of football, where and they're very good in the second half as well. I mean, that's something that I'm proud of our team, that we've been able to outscore people by 100 points in the second half, and so have they. They just have done a better job in the first quarter than we have. So that'll be a big emphasis, is obviously trying to come out and match their tempo and what they've done in their preparation and their scheme and what they've planned for us. So whether it's a big back, a small back, it's like if it's a little back that's running in front of big linemen. Let's use Jacobs, for example. He's not a big back, but they have a big physical line, and that could have a tendency to wear on you if you're able to commit to the run for the entire 4 quarters.
During joint practices, some of the players, your players, they talked about the tempo and the intensity from the Patriots in practice. Is that something you've kind of focused on to ramp up this week, or?
No, I mean, we've watched the practices. We've tried to watch, the personnel and what they may have done and what their skill set is. Hopefully everybody's excited to play in this game. I know I'm excited to coach in it. I'm excited to prepare for it. That's pro football. That guys are gonna have a good time. They're gonna talk. They're gonna play hard, and so are we.